Happy New Year! Happy 2026. It is officially January 2nd, 2026. And I think I'm still in awe of how fast 2025 went by. But hey, we are here. The energy is right. I am very well rested after basically sleeping the last day and a half after recuperating last week and all of the different festivities and celebrations, and of course Christmas and holiday camps and doing games and shutting down 22nd Street. Yeah, we are to go into 2026 with a renewed sense of purpose. Last week, we talked a little bit about making sure that you sit in the moment of the in between. Hopefully, you've had an opportunity to think about your one word for 2026. I know that in the last day and a half, I have probably written down, I don't know, maybe 12 different words, 12 to 15 different words, and have finally, like, nope, not this word ties in with this word. And I have officially gotten to my one word for 2026. But before I go into that, I'm going to lead with this. I actually started a new journal because I'm like, this year I really want to make sure that I am documenting. Because believe it or not, this is episode 18 of Positivity with Tamika. What just started as something that's like, oh, I'm just going to do this and see how it goes. And here we are, 18 weeks in, which is absolutely insane. But that just tells you how it's going by and the importance of tracking it as you go along. So this year, it's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters on purpose. And so as I started thinking about my one word, and I would normally say, drum roll, my one word for 2026 is intentional. Intentional. So 5 areas that I really want to focus on when I think about the intentional. I think about my family, my faith, time, connection, and giving or sowing. So family, faith, time, connection, sowing are the 5 areas for me when I think about my word intentional. Having an intentional faith, intentional family time, intentional connection, intentional sowing, and intentional connections. Those 5. I'm going to break it down for you. So faith, y'all know I'm very faith oriented. Spent my New Year's Eve at church only to come home and crash because the last week had already just been exhausting. 2025 was an exhausting year, but in a good way. So I will not take it back. There's a lot of great things that came out of it. But when you talk about getting to the end, and I was like, yes, waiting till 12 o'clock, and yeah, about that. Maybe next year, but this year I really am like, I just needed to get rested, get rejuvenated. But for this year, when I think about faith, it really is about being in alignment. And one area that I think I can do better and that I will be intentional, not think, I will be intentional about getting better is my prayer life, getting involved. So I go to New Life. And one thing that we always talk about is a local church gets small when you get involved. And I am involved to a capacity, or to an extent rather. I think I can do more and step and fill in some gaps, not all gaps, but fill in other areas. So that is that I want to be intentional. And then we talk about prayer. Personally, how many times have we said, oh, I'm gonna pray for you? And you might pray in that moment, but then it's kind of like it gets swept the rug or you never pray about it again. I want to be intentional about making sure that I'm praying. And also, that's why I have this book and I have a journal that I use for my devotionals and for journaling and other things. So I want to make sure that my prayer life is showed up for 2026. Family, I want to make sure that I'm spending time. I am one, I love every single thing that I am involved in, from my work, or I rather don't even say work because I love what I get a chance to do every day. But through Tease Me, through the foundation, through all my commitments and things that I do, I love doing it, but when I come home, my family comes second. This year, I have got to be intentional about making sure my family time comes first, my scheduling comes around what I have for. And so my family that's an area that I am going to be locked in to 2026. So y'all got to keep me honest with that, because this also goes into the time and connection. Intentional time, intentional catch. Not going to be able to be everywhere and do everything. It's funny when you hear people like, man, you're everywhere, you do everything. I'm like, yeah, but I actually gotten better with saying no, because it is a complete sentence. But even when you say no, sometimes you're like, man, I feel bad. I feel like I should be there. I feel like I should support that person. I feel like I should be a part of this organization. But the reality is, with so much time in a day and so much energy and so many things that are already prioritized higher, you cannot be at everything. I cannot be at everything. So my time is going to be limited and I'm going to have to say no. So these are things I'm telling myself, intentional. Be intentional with things that you are locked into and that you are willing and able to commit to. And then the connections. So this also goes with my meeting and time, connection, family, faith. So all of these words tie together in a sense of making sure that when you are in the space that you need to be in or that you have committed and intentionally focused on being in, that all of these things connect. So one thing I love, there's many things that I loved about the service on Wednesday, that would have been New Year's Eve, but the church service that we went to is our pastor talked about 4 types of people, right? The 4 types of people that you come across are people, 1, that add to your life, 2, that subtract from your life, 3, that either multiply your life, or 4, that divide your life. Add to your life, subtract to your life, multiply to your life, or divide your life. And I wrote that down because as I was thinking about that, I'm like, that is so good. You think about connection and start thinking about 2026, where you want to be, the goals that you might have set. Me, my one word is I'm intentional on what I'm doing and where I'm at and the people that I'm connected to. Which leads me to my last one, which is sowing, giving, or as my pastor would say, you have seed time that leads to your harvest time. And for me, one of the books that I just recently read, it asked the question, have you ever thought about a giving goal? Have you ever thought about how much you would love to give? And giving goes in so many different ways, your time, your money, your energy, effort, like all of that was into my intentionality. But the question was more from a financial aspect, like actually putting a number on it. So I have a goal, and my goal is a 5-year goal because I want to see, and I'm going to cheer, but my goal is to give $1 million in 5 years. And honestly, I don't know where I'm at as far as giving. I was talking to one of my family about this, and she was like, well, I feel like you probably give that. I'm like, I don't know. I don't give. But one thing and one area I want to do is I want to be able to track it, because having a goal and making sure it's a goal that maybe in your mind it's like, oh my God, that's such a big number, right? $1 million is a lot of money. I know no matter what, whether you make $1 million or you don't, or even thinking of all of those zeros, that's a lot of money. So for me, being able to sow into other people's lives, whether it's showing up is a coffee or a tea. So tea is me having a day that's designated to being able to give tea, give time, give energy, all of that. So all of my 5 areas, focus areas, are underneath intentionality. And I am excited about 2026 because even as I started thinking about those, I thought about this verse, Proverbs 16:3, commit your action to the Lord and your plan will succeed. Again, commit your action to the Lord and your plans will succeed. So I have written this down. I'm going to do my vision board. I'm going to make sure that when I get that, I will show you guys. But I really want to be more locked in to being intentional, especially with my family. But family, faith, connection, time, and sowing. So, hey, I love coming up with one word. I am so interested in what is your one word. And even as you think about your own personal one word, thinking about the intentionality that I just said, are there areas in your life that you need to be intentional in as we go into 2026? So I'm excited for all of us because 2026 is going to be our year. It's going to be amazing. We are not doing more. We are going to walk in purpose. We are going to walk in intention to make sure that this is our year to reap what we have sowed. So here we go. Are you ready? If you like this, make sure you like it. Make sure you share it. Share your one word. I want to hear what your one word is. And I am committed to not only praying for myself and the things that I have written down, but also praying for each and every one of us because this is our year. I'm claiming it. All right. I'll see you guys next week, but make sure share this with somebody because I think it's really important. See you next week. God bless.